Run it back.
Ready?
Keep it light.
There's so many out there, you just don't know.
Which ones to watch and when to say no. That's why Ryan and
Andrew
watch so you don't have to.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 26 of
We Watch So You Don't Have To, the Bad Movie Podcast.
starring Andrew Price, and
Ryan Webb.
today we watched Skiptrace, starring Jackie Chan and Johnny Knoxville, and
Some other actors that you would recognize for sure.
absolutely not.
No,
Ryan's
definitely
lying
not.
there.
Definitely
Ryan's
not.
lying there.
I think they're pretty popular actors in China, in Chinese films, actually.
Yeah.
So
I think they're huge.
If you're watching movies in China, you would definitely recognize them. But for all of our U.S. listeners, you're probably not going to recognize them.
Yeah, pretty much. This was I hated this movie.
Is this a Netflix, is this one of those, Netflix only releases, or no?
So I looked into it, and the budget for this movie was $32 million, and it did $135 million in Hong Kong.
Yeah, people loved it because it features Hong Kong, and it features Jackie frickin' Chan.
Jackie Chan's a superstar over there.
He unfortunately, I don't know when this happened, but he got really old.
He got really old. I'm surprised he could still do all those moves.
Well, he can't really. They really toned down the moves.
They're not as flashy anymore.
This movie is basically...
He hurt his back in one of them, I think.
I'm sure, dude. I'm sure he did. This movie is basically this is a 2016 movie. It's brand new. It's on Netflix.
It went straight to Netflix, I'm pretty sure, in the States.
It has 4 stars on Netflix right now. That's a mistake. Don't be fooled. It is not a 4-star movie. But what I wanted to say was that this movie is basically it's basically Rush Hour. It's it's
Rush Hour 4 swapping Chris Tucker with Johnny Knoxville.
Right, so already a huge downgrade. But it just doesn't come to there's none of the comedy there, and there's none of the coherent plot, and it just doesn't have any of the feels that the Rush Hour franchise has. Right?
I don't know why they picked up Johnny Knoxville. Is he even really doing movies since Jack? Oh, because he could do his own stunts, probably.
Dude, Johnny Knoxville, by the way, can't do any stunts anymore, bro. That guy's broken.
He's absolutely broken.
He
got beat the fuck up in this movie, though.
His stunt double did.
You think? No, he does his own stunts. He's a professional stuntman. That's the whole thing.
No way.
Yes.
We can... I don't want to get into graphic details for listeners, but if you guys go and read about Johnny Knoxville, that dude, his daily life is affected moving forward his whole life because of the shit he did on Jackass. He has to use a catheter.
He doesn't feel pain anymore, dude.
No, I think he's in constant pain. Let's get off this. We're talking about Skiptrace. Dude, what's the movie about? What's the movie about?
All right. You're going to have to help me out with this.
Yeah, we'll trade off.
This movie is about Jackie Chan, a secret agent in Hong Kong.
He's a police detective.
Yeah, I guess. Sure. Secret agent. Whatever. Same difference. The Chinese FBI. I don't fucking know.
Local cops everywhere have just been upgraded to secret agent status.
He seems really sneaky. That's why I thought
That's
secret
fair.
agent. So he's trying to track down the mysterious crime boss, the Matador.
Dun, dun, dun.
Who killed his partner years ago, and he's been seeking revenge. And after many failed attempts, he gets suspended from his job. And then, Ryan, what happens next?
Okay, yeah. Johnny Knoxville is a con man cowboy gambler that gambles in Macau casinos because he's been banned from American casinos, which is what you said from the Wikipedia summary, but I did not get that sense from the movie at all.
Yeah.
Anyways, I digress. Point being that
he runs into Jackie Chan's
goddaughter.
Benny Chan. Jackie Chan plays Benny Chan in this movie. Runs into Benny Chan's goddaughter, who's working at the casino. Sees that Johnny Knoxville, who plays the character Connor Watts, is spending all this money and offers him a free night stay at the casino hotel. She then gets in trouble with her boss at the casino because he's notorious for stealing money from the casino. So, then,
which is what you're supposed to do at a casino. So like, fuck those guys. Getting in trouble for winning money from a casino.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck?
You can't get mad at them when they steal your money.
You can get mad. Remember when we went to Vegas and you're like, oh really, 21 again?
Oh yeah, oh that's right.
She kept getting 21, and Ryan got really mad.
She did get 21.
Like 10 times straight. Anyways.
How, I don't understand how Benny Chan, my bad, and Connor Watts meet up in this movie. What is their connection?
They meet up because Benny Chan's goddaughter, is everything? Benny Chan's goddaughter is... like meeting up with Benny Chan. So they're in the room together, whatever. And she's like, oh, I'm in trouble, like at my work or whatever. And so in order to like help her out. No. Let me try and make sense of this. So in order for Benny to help out his goddaughter, he's got to capture Johnny Knoxville to bring him to basically turn him in.
Why?
I don't know, dude.
Yeah, exactly. This movie sucks.
Because, well, here's the thing: is Connor went up to his room. He's like, "Oh, I got this free night stay or whatever," and then he gets kidnapped by the Russian mafia. But the bosses at the casino management was going to capture him and imprison him, but he escaped by being kidnapped. So where does Benny
Chan fit into that? I don't understand.
So Benny Chan is like, I've got to find this guy.
Why? Why does he even know about him?
To help out his goddaughter.
How does that help his goddaughter out?
Because don't you remember his goddaughter was talking to her boss at the casino?
Yeah.
And the guy was like, if you want to make this right, he was like, you're in trouble here. If you want to make this right, you'll find him and turn him in. And so all of a sudden, Benny Chan is like, I've got to find this guy. He's been suspended from his job. So he's like, all right, I need to like save face. I need to turn in like a wanted criminal. I think he's trying to like also get his job back maybe.
Okay.
That's a guess.
Yeah, it's definitely a guess. None of this makes sense, though. I think the point that... there's your summary, everyone, by the way. Yeah. So I guess my point is that, like, it's refreshing to know that you didn't understand this movie either. And what happens consistently throughout this movie is that there's something wrong with the editing or something. That it just changes scenes so quickly that it's...
Well, and in such a weird way, too. Like, it would freeze frame and then, like, comic bookify the picture.
Yeah.
And it's
but
like,
then you'd be in another country. Like,
comic book?
Within the first 10 minutes, you're introduced to probably 20 characters across Russia, Hong Kong, Macau, America, and it's like you really don't even know where you are.
Also, to that point, when it introduced Johnny Knoxville and he was like tied up, hanging upside down or whatever, right away he was like, "You're probably wondering how I got into this mess," and it's like, "No, dude, we don't know who the fuck you are.
Right?
Like, I don't give two shits about you." Like,
yeah, they need Johnny Knoxville narrating the movie for us through the whole movie because it doesn't make sense. Yeah. But anyways, let's look so that we can get into some of this.
Sure.
Suffice to say, Jackie Chan is on a mission, a revenge mission to basically save face and also to
find the Matador.
Find the Matador who killed his partner. Mixed up in that is Jackie Chan's goddaughter, Samantha, and also pulled along for the ride is Johnny Knoxville, aka Connor Watts, who at some point in the movie is being chased by the Russian mob. And it's also mixed up in this whole thing because Jackie Chan is using him as leverage or proof or something to find out the Matador at the end.
Yeah, and it's like the back 2/3 of the movie is just like a buddy comedy. It's like Tommy Boy or like
it kind of is, actually.
Dumb and Dumber, where they're like just fighting all these bad guys and then escaping, and it's like, oh no, but now they're rolling down a hill and getting all beat up and bruised, and oh wow, this sumo wrestler popped up out of nowhere and now they're getting beat the fuck up.
Well, and what it is too is they're like trekking across the country because his passport got burned up, so they have to like go on foot across the continent back to Hong Kong. And so what really this movie, I think my whole like suspicion is that Jackie Chan and Johnny Knoxville must have been friends somewhere along the way, and they were like, dude, I'm retired, but I didn't save my money. Like, do you want to do a movie where we travel around the world? And they stopped at like 6 countries in this movie, and they got to just travel around the world, like making this bullshit movie.
And
right?
Johnny Knoxville looked at a piece of paper that was like, movies I'm about to star in, and it was totally blank. And he was like, sure, I'll do this.
I'll clear my schedule.
It's pretty clear, but I'll clear it up even more.
And that's the whole rest of the movie is them like just like, oh, they're in Mongolia, whoa, they're in the desert, whoa, and they're like just like making their way. Let's talk about it.
And then it's all filler from there, you know? And it's like throw in a couple popular songs and call it a movie.
Yeah. Oh, there's some songs, my friend. We'll get into that. Can I ask you a very important question before we get too deep into this?
Sure. Yeah.
What does the title mean? Skiptrace. What does that mean?
I thought long and hard about this, and my answer is I have no fucking clue. I have no idea.
Skiptrace. It's one word.
Skiptrace.
Skiptrace.
It's like, you know, when you have a skip trace.
Oh yeah.
When you're late for work and then you got to skip trace.
Yeah, skip trace over to the office
for that meeting.
Anyways, if you guys know what the meaning of this movie is, call in and we'll take calls on that subject. But we don't know.
We'll get back to you in a skip trace.
But don't worry, don't worry. There's plenty more nonsense where that came from. What else? I will say that I was worried right away when this movie opened up because there was like 8 logos, like 8 logo scenes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like, ooh, there's way too many people involved in this movie. Like, that's never a good sign.
I feel like there was another movie where it was like
I know.
all these other movie studios were involved. It's like they
Possibly
worked on like
super...
10% of it or something.
Was it Baby Geniuses maybe?
It could have been.
I don't know. Anyways, yeah, you're like, you can tell that like
just one movie studio.
Pick one.
Just one.
Finish it out. Do the whole movie with them.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we know how the business works, per se.
Yeah, I don't know.
But. What do you got?
Also, this movie was an hour and 45 minutes. Weren't you bored by, like, the hour mark? I was like, fucking motherfucker.
I hated you for picking it when I found out that it was an hour and 40 minutes. And then I had to watch it in 3 different sittings. I fell asleep watching it at night. I tried to watch it in the next morning. And I got so mad that I was starting off my morning watching this movie that didn't make any sense. I just had to finish I finished the last 33 minutes, like, this afternoon.
So, this movie was, like, a comedy, right?
I think it
was... it, like, a comedy action movie?
Yes, that's what it's trying to be Rush Hour. It fails on almost all fronts.
Did you laugh once?
Yeah, I wrote it down somewhere.
There are a couple interesting characters.
They have this running bit where Jackie Chan can make Johnny Knoxville pass out by pressing 2 fingers against his neck.
Yeah.
And when Johnny Knoxville's trying to do that to Jackie Chan and just ends up poking him in the neck like over and over, and then it's not working, I laughed once out loud.
And then he did it successfully at the end of the movie, and that's how the movie ends, with Jackie Chan sprawled out in the middle of a field.
With who's that he's with?
Samantha, I think, his goddaughter. Wait,
no.
He's
definitely not with his goddaughter. That's creepy, bro.
That is creepy.
It's like
you're right.
He doesn't have a wife, but it's like the last scene is with him and a wife or something.
A new love interest
that popped up out of nowhere. I don't know. Let's not get into that. There's okay. Look, maybe we should have one listener watch this movie so that we don't lose our credibility. We it's not us. This movie is confusing.
Dude, it's really confusing. It's really confusing. There's so much that I want to talk about, but I just don't know where to begin. I'm
just gonna keep going on my list if you don't have anything.
Okay.
How about the fight scene in Russia? I think maybe I don't know. It's a factory that makes.
Oh yeah.
Comical Russian doll.
I thought that was okay. That was the one part that I actually genuinely laughed at.
What the fuck was that?
When Jackie Chan is fighting the Russian mafia, Dasha, who has like super strength and she's like the super buff chick. Anyway, she's beating up Jackie Chan, and he's looking around to like shield himself because that's Jackie Chan's thing. Is like it's very like deflection. He interacts with his environment. He's like, what can I use as like a weapon or a shield or something? Like that's his shtick. And in this scene, all he could find is those like Russian dolls where it's like a doll within a doll within a doll, like times 5.
Except they're not like mantelpiece size. They're like the size of your torso.
Right.
It's strange.
And so every time she's punching, the outer layer shatters, and then it reveals the smaller one, and then it shatters, and then it shatters.
Yeah.
Until it's down to like the little tiny one.
And it's like, you know what happened is someone thought of that gag, and then they put the whole fight scene in a factory that makes those. It's like, this is...
But it was like a pile of these dolls. Like, they weren't on any of the conveyor belts or anything.
I know. Just one giant pile. Okay, so the other scene that happened there in that same factory was where Dasha was like, I'm going to kick your ass. And then Jackie Chan says, not honorable to fight girls.
And she goes, so stop acting like one then.
And then she holds up 2 fists with brass knuckles on them and proceeds to, and you're like, oh shit. Like,
I thought that was kind of badass.
It was badass. Followed by what she does, Jackie Chan holds up a cardboard box, she punches the cardboard box, and then her hand gets stuck in a cardboard box, rendering her, like, now incapacitated. It was like, no, that's ridiculous.
She didn't like cardboard.
And then she tries to, do you remember this? When she tries to chase after him, and then she gets stuck between the 2 poles, and he looks at her.
He goes, D cup, and she goes, double D.
What? That was like... Wasn't that fucked up, dude?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just like, I don't...
So in the middle of a fight, they're talking about her breasts.
I think that's how, like, Rush Hour was, though. It was like, there'd be these fight scenes, but it would also be, like, comedic. It's kind of like Three Stooges, like...
Yeah, but Rush Hour was comedic in a sensible way, where it was like, that wasn't comedy. That was just like... I don't know what that was.
Yeah, I didn't laugh in it. I laughed at the Russian dolls just because I thought that was hilarious, but it didn't make sense in that scene, and that was the only time I laughed. The rest of the time I was just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah. Anyways. Let's talk about something. Let's move on. What do you got?
There was the scene where the casino guys were chasing after them, and Benny Chan was like, that's bad, look. And then they're running, and they encounter this, like, mud festival where all these people are, like, splashing mud on each other.
But you can still tell it's Jackie Chan and Johnny Knoxville, even though they're covered in mud. But, like, these bad guys look out across this mud festival, which, by the way, it's, like, 50 people, not thousands.
Right.
And
but it's funny because they're, like, splashing each other.
Yeah. Well, and also, like, they're
trying to blend in.
Their life is, like, in danger, and they're just, like gleefully splashing each other with mud. And it was like, I'm not sure that's how you would be like, oh shit, like duck down and get, like, blend in, not like, yeah. Right?
Maybe this was a funny movie.
Maybe it was funny. I guess the singing, the part that preceded that, where they, like, had to, like,
sing in order to pass through.
Yeah, I guess that was supposed to be funny, but I didn't really. I bet, you know what I bet? I bet for, like, Hong Kong audiences that, like, knew the songs and stuff like that, I bet that's, like, a funny pop song or something.
That's kind of what I was thinking, because they were doing, like, dances that it's like, you'd probably be able to tell what that was exactly. Yeah, but I had no idea.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe they just expected us to laugh at Johnny Knoxville. They're like, oh, those dumb Americans, they love that jackass guy. Put him in it. That's how he got in this movie, dude. And they made him a cowboy gambler. They're like, oh, those dumb Americans.
Whoa.
And the rest of the movie's not for us. That's why we didn't get it, and it's not funny to us. We're just supposed to laugh at the Johnny Knoxville shit.
But the Johnny Knoxville shit wasn't that funny. He wasn't likable at all.
Yeah, they failed on the one part that was supposed to connect with us, which is why we didn't like the movie. But you know why it has 4 stars? Because Hong Kong audiences on Netflix love this shit.
Did they use that same formula with Rush Hour? They were like, Chris Tucker's for, like, the American audience, and then everything else is for...
Maybe.
You had the opportunity to agree with me, and you did. Well, edit number 1, Andrew timestamp. How far are we?
No, leave it in.
All right.
Speaking of Johnny Knoxville humor, sure. We should talk about some of the dumb like body.
He didn't do, like,
gross out humor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, for instance, the scene when he was riding the horse.
Mm-hmm. And the horse pooped everywhere.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
That wasn't in this movie.
Oh yeah, you didn't see that?
No.
He was riding the horse and Jackie Chan was talking to him and he was like, "Oh, you're full of horse apples," is what he said.
What?
And then as he said, which I think is slang for like horse poop, and as he said that, the horse was dropping loads of shit in that scene.
Oh my god.
You didn't also see in the bloopers where the horse was shitting? Like they worked horse related poopy like humor into that scene, and they captured it when the horse was going.
I gotta admit, I didn't stick around for the bloopers.
You didn't?
The second the credits came up, I said, I'm done with this movie. I'm not doing it anymore.
That's the best part of Jackie Chan movies.
I know.
Is watching the bloopers, because he genuinely gets hurt, and you see cases where it's like the guy he was fighting actually accidentally punched him in the face.
I know. That's the best part, when you've just watched a movie and you don't want it to end. Okay. And you're like, oh, this is so enjoyable. I don't want it to end. I'll watch the B-roll. Not when you're like, I want this to be over and done.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. You watch a shitty movie, you're like, I don't care about the shitty movie bloopers.
Yeah, like,
who cares?
They didn't make it into the movie. They're gotta be worse than what I just watched.
I was hoping it would like redeem the shitty movie.
Yeah,
and it didn't.
No. Also in that same scene, I'm sorry. Thanks for adding that in. I didn't know about the horse apples.
Yeah.
But he was riding the horse, and literally Johnny Knoxville, his lines were, "Ow, ow, my balls," as he's riding the horse. And it's like, great. Perfect.
It's that American audience humor.
Yeah, exactly. Similar to that, do you remember the zipline scene?
Oh, yeah. Where Jackie Chan was struggling to hold on to Johnny Knoxville as they're riding down the zip line. And then he gets down to his crotch.
Yep.
And he's like, hang on to my crotch.
No, he says, sorry,
go
I
ahead.
have the exact wording. He said, "Easy on the ding ding." To which Jackie Chan replies, "It's the only thing I can hold." And then he slips a little bit and then says, "Too small."
It's the only thing I can hold?
Yeah, it's like he's wearing
outside of his pants?
First of all, he's wearing clothes. So you're not actually hanging on to his penis, right? I mean, you're not. So it's a weird dialogue to be falling off of a zip line to your death and then be joking about this thing that you're not actually doing. Like, by the way, if you were actually doing that wouldn't, you would, how would that go? You're literally hanging on to him by his penis? Like, I don't know whether to believe, like, I'm trying to picture both, you know what I mean?
And right before that scene, it was raining and they had to seek shelter in
my god.
somewhere, but their clothes were all wet, and so they had to disrobe entirely. They had their boxers.
And naked spoon.
And they had a naked spoon.
When they were doing that, I was like, of course they're doing that. Like, that, they're trying to throw in every, like, gross, like quote-unquote gross, like...
Yeah. And it was also, like, how come you get to be the big spoon?
Also, that was already done in that cabin, or what was that? Up a Creek Without a Paddle with like Dax Shepard or whatever.
Oh God!
I didn't see that movie, but like in the trailers, it was always like, "Oh, gross!
You're right.
Guys are spooning." Right.
And they would play some like funny song, like love song. Yeah. It's been done, is the point.
It's like, been done.
It was a bunch of like cliched humor and jokes. It's
easy on the ding ding.
It's too small.
What else?
I thought, so in the end we find out that Matador is actually Young, who was Benny Chan's partner, and that was supposed to be the big reveal. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? I don't know.
Okay, yes, I was also like, I have a lot of questions about this. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? I think the only thing it did redeem was the hilarious way he died in the beginning of the movie, where he plummeted to his death and then
that epic first
this cartoony water. He's like got a bomb strapped to him, and he's like, "No, save yourself!" And then he hurls himself over the edge, and then he hits the water, and then literally this like water explosion. It's like that was all so fake and hilarious.
Well, and also like Benny was saving him and like took the handcuffs off and like took the bomb off that he was strapped to. It was like, just come with me. He was like, no, it's too late.
What was the point of all that, by the way? I don't understand. Why would the movie... Why write that in? It's like, I get that it was supposed to be a twist.
I guess he was trying to fake out... I think Benny was hot on the Matador's trail, and he didn't want to be identified, so he was like, I'll make it... Because, remember, he was like, it's the Matador, he did all of this, or whatever.
Why would... If you're...
He was trying to just prove to Benny that he wasn't the Matador.
Okay.
I think.
But if you're a crime boss, instead of
just kill him.
Faking... Yeah, just kill him. Instead of faking your death, which sends him your partner into a revenge cycle that wants to chase you down more, and if he's on your trail, why wouldn't you just kill him and then continue living your life?
He was just I don't know.
So then now, because guess what? Here's the kicker.
He was crazy.
By doing that, he was crazy. Actually, I don't know what he was. We barely knew him.
I think he was just stupid.
I think he was stupid. When he kills himself at the end by going back into the sinking boat, it was comical.
The movie turned into Titanic.
Oh yeah,
it
you're
completely
right.
did, because Samantha was trapped in that room that was filling up with water, and she was handcuffed to the pole.
Yes.
It was literally. What's up with these bad movies writing? Remember Flintstones?
Yeah.
Shout out to episode
11?
Flintstones, Viva Rock Vegas.
I think it's 11.
Which also ripped off Titanic.
I think
it's a classic bad movie.
That's how good Titanic is.
That's how good Titanic is. Everyone's trying to replicate scenes from Titanic, I guess.
But so the whole kicker of him faking his death is that now his daughter thinks he's dead, and he clearly loves his daughter. He's he has that whole creepy room for her when he recaptures her, but it's why did you do any of that? I just don't get it, and the movie doesn't explain it. It's strange.
Well, it didn't make any sense.
Yeah,
he was just crazy,
Not as crazy, not as crazy as the Mongolian scene.
Oh my god. So how did they wind up there? Is it because they were on the train and they had to get off the train because they didn't have a passport?
Yeah, they're making their way across the Gobi Desert in Mongolia. Yeah. So they encounter a Mongolian tribe, and then they end up playing fucking beer pong with them, which is so annoying. Remember when they were playing Mongolian beer pong?
They just have this weird party. That was a 20-minute segment of the movie where it's whoa, why are they just partying with these dudes now? I don't know. And they started singing that Adele song, Rolling in the Deep.
Should you want me to go to a clip?
Yeah. Do you have a clip of that?
I've got a clip.
Okay.
So, yep.
This is from the movie. We can't make this up.
Yeah. That's and what you don't get from that is that there's an entire Mongolian tribe around him who I guess knows Adele covers, and
oh yeah, because they're this isolated tribe.
Yeah, they can play they're we know one song, and it's "Rolling in the Deep" by Adele, and Jackie Chan provides the vocals, and they play their instruments. Just a totally normal scene,
Yeah, I thought that scene was perfectly fine.
Yep. Great addition to the movie, and I mean, if they removed the whole Mongolian scene, would it take away or add to the plot
they
at all?
They could have removed a lot of scenes.
Yep.
And it still would have been confusing as shit.
By the way, here you go, Skiptrace. What bad movies do is they're exactly 88 minutes. You could have saved us at least 20 minutes if you just got it down. You know what? Maybe we should do is suggest some edits.
I think they didn't want this to be a bad movie, and they're no, Titanic was 3 hours. Let's try and go close to the 2 hour mark.
This was that scene was supposed to be their "My Heart Will Go On" scene.
Do you think they had to ask Adele for permission?
I don't know, dude. When that scene started, though, were you not I guess I was laughing at that scene too.
I wasn't laughing.
I was shocked.
It was mostly shock. My jaw hit the floor.
Yeah. Did I eat some poison berries earlier? And is it possible I'm tripping? Because this definitely isn't happening.
I was waiting for that scene to be over. I didn't know it was going to be this drawn out scene because they were having all these like quick encounters with all these different places and stuff. And then all of a sudden they were at this like Mongolian like party for 20 minutes. I just didn't know what the fuck was going on.
The whole scene was insane.
It was crazy.
At one point, Johnny Knoxville is dressed up in traditional Mongolian garb, and he's got like a hat and like a robe and stuff on, and they're all like partying and drinking with these Mongolians. And he says, he lifts his cup and he goes, to the air, to the ground, to the homies. And everyone is dying laughing. Like you could feel that it was supposed to be this moment for the audience. It was like, oh, yes, yes.
What was that in reference to, though? Like to the window, to the wall or something?
Maybe, but it was just so
But
odd.
it wasn't quite that.
To the air, to the ground, to the homies.
To the homies? What the fuck was...
It's like almost offensive that it's like, oh, this
This movie's not offensive to anybody.
I'll take that. I take that back. My mistake.
This movie was pretty successful. It made $100 million.
U.S. dollars?
I assume so.
Maybe there's something wrong in the conversion.
What was the deal with all the alpacas? Alpacas?
Jackie Chan really wanted to be an alpaca farmer, remember? That was like his monologue, like...
Well, yeah, I know, but that was...
It was strange.
And then there were so many alpacas at the end of the movie. The final scene, it was like 20 of them.
Because he finally made his dream of like, he was going to stop fighting and stop running and live a life and like farm alpacas. Alpacas actually mentioned in by Johnny Knoxville in this clip I have. You want to go to my other clip?
Yeah, let's check it out.
It mentions alpacas, but really the primary... I had such a problem with the way Johnny Knoxville talked in this movie. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you like... I
had a problem with his character. It was just so terrible.
But for anyone that like watched like the Jackass whole series growing up and everything, like you know how Johnny Knoxville talks. Yeah. It's clear. So compare that to this.
If it wasn't for me, you would be moping around your apartment, eating ramen, reading Alpaca Daily.
Reading Alpaca Daily. Like that's how his character talks. What? One more. Just to really get a sense.
If it wasn't for me, you would be moping around your apartment, eating ramen, reading Alpaca Daily.
His voice sounds almost like whiny, kind of like.
Was that
alpaca? Or he's like faking like a southern accent, kind of.
Is that what it is? That's what Jamie said too.
Because he's like the cowboy thing. I mean,
that's him faking a southing accent, though. That's
he's
terrible.
He's trying.
I think he's from Tennessee.
The director tried to fake a good movie, you know.
You be reading Alpaca Daily. If it wasn't for me, you'd be eating cereal, reading Alpaca Daily. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
They're like, no, talk American. And he's like, I am. And they're like, no, like this.
Yeah, it definitely seemed coached for sure. I couldn't get behind it. I don't know. That's all I got.
All right.
That's it.
Let's,
So, don't watch this movie.
You know what, though? Was anyone going to watch this movie? It's just on Netflix, and I don't know that...
I never heard of this movie until I saw it in Netflix, so most likely people were never going to watch this movie. But if somehow you come across it in Netflix as like a suggested movie, avoid it at all costs.
We should probably prioritize... Well, it's 2016. It's a 2016 movie. You don't know about it.
It came out September 2016. It came out 3 months ago.
Yeah. And it did pop up on my Netflix queue before you mentioned it. And I was like, Jackie Chan movie, this could be good.
Yeah, could be.
Another Jackie Chan movie that I saw on Netflix that could be good for the podcast, Around the World in 80 Days.
Is that really a Jackie Chan movie?
It said 2004, 2.5 stars. Seems like good for the podcast. Don't watch that either, guys. We might watch that one for you.
We'll watch it next time.
One day.
Mm-hmm.
Or next time.
In a Skiptrace.
All right, we'll see you guys in a Skiptrace, and we're out of here. What are we doing for the outro song?
Jackass theme song.